see what regional planning says.
Have you talked to Donovan?
Yeah. Well, at least we don't have all those papers in front now, right?
Yeah, I was just looking at my notebook. I should clear some of that out.
We're changing it to through that, where everything's gonna be electronic submission. Okay, it's 7.
All right. Okay, 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the Brimfield Township Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Roll call, please.
Bruce Diffenberg.
Here.
Scott Etling.
Here.
Vince Bradacco. Ed Schutte. Sean Phillips. Clayton Popick.
Here.
William Kramer. Clayton, you will be a voting member tonight. We do have a quorum. Also present is Economic Development Director and Zoning Inspector Mike Ladd, myself, Lauren Kaufman, Zoning Secretary, and Rochelle Statesel, Brimfield Township Assistant IT.
Okay, we have an agenda this evening. You have a motion regarding the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Everything was duly advertised?
Yes, it was.
All righty. Roll call, please.
Bruce Diffenberg.
Yes.
Scott Etling.
Yes.
Vince Bradacco.
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
All righty. At this time, if you are planning on speaking this evening, I'd like to swear you in. If you also are speaking tonight, I'll need to sign in on the sheet if you haven't already done so. So at this point, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give before this board is to the best of your knowledge an accurate and truthful presentation of the facts? If so, in turn, say I do, state your name and the relationship to whatever case we're hearing. So we'll start over here.
I do. Tom Weesey, Bridgepine Church. Morgan Aorio, resident of Brimfield Township. Rich Costin, Brimfield Development.
Dan Duhon, Brimfield Development, LTD. Thomas Johnson, resident, and also the chair of the zoning commission.
All righty. So is there any old business? Says none, but just checking. Okay. We have to accept the resignation of William Kramer. Is that our function or the trustees' function?
Well, it is a trustee's function, but I'd just like to make a motion to accept his resignation at this level.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Bruce Diffenberg.
Yes.
Scott Etling.
Yes.
Vince Bradacco.
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Thank you. We have the minutes from January. Everybody should have had an opportunity to look at them. Do we have any questions or comments regarding them?
Just fixing it.
We have a motion.
I talked to Lauren earlier about
I'll second.
there's a discrepancy between Ed being here and not being here, so.
Yeah, I fixed it. I just removed him. I forgot to take him out of the absence slot, so I just put his name back up to the top.
Okay. So then we need a motion as amended.
I'll make a motion as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Bruce Diffenberg.
Yes.
Scott Etling.
Yes.
Vince Bradacco.
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Our first application is a zoning conditional use application. Applicant is Brimfield Development Company, owner Brimfield Development Company. They're requesting a conditional use request. Applicant is requesting conditional use approval to operate an assisted living facility, zoning resolution section 311.02B, 2D, congregate care and assisted living facility, subject to the provisions of Chapter 4 and Section 400.10.B, subsection 42. Are you going to speak now, Vince, or?
Yeah, as the president of Just Cricket Condo Association, I met with several of the board members, and we have no objection to that offering the conditional zoning, provided they do the landscaping that they're going to tell us about tonight, so forth.
Okay. And do we have anything from zoning on it, or?
No, the plan looks good.
Okay. Who's speaking first? Okay. Let us know what we're doing here.
All right, well, my name's Dan Behoff. We have my partner, Rich Costin. So this is this is the piece, if you're facing Carlin Drive, looking north to your left. So it's the north, kind of west corner of Brimfield. So the bordering, if you went west of this, you'd be in Summit County. So this property butts up to our neighbors to the west, which is good old town of Summit County. So we have put in the public infrastructure that you know of here. Aldi is kind of right here. We have a full movement access light that we got approved, which was fantastic for everybody. When we first did the project, we didn't have the volume count that allowed a light. And surprisingly, with the addition of Aldi, and this being rezoned, these were all single-family homes, really long. We were able to resubmit the updated traffic study based on zoning, and they permitted the light. So I just wanted to mention that, is that the traffic infrastructure has been installed and designed for this kind of project. So I'll start with, I guess, this assisted living facility. I'm going to mention their name. They're not. We have still a lot of work to do with them, but we've done another project with them, and they are the ones why we're here today. So the Village of St. Edwards is a nonprofit Catholic diocese. They are run by the Catholic Diocese of Cleveland. It's their territory. They're really great people. They run St. Edwards, which is also a skilled nursing facility, and they have multiple assisted living facilities. So they have one in Green, one in Wadsworth. This would be their third location. It's specifically assisted living and memory care and a little bit of independent living. Their difference in that arena is they have a chapel, and they really promote a strong culture that they bring with them. I just shared that with you so you have a full understanding. They expect things to be done very well and high end. Their building, which you can see some pictures of their elevation, is architecturally high end, higher than what I would say the Danbury's, which we're associated with. We will be the owner of the building, so it is a build-to-suit leaseback. They really just want to operate the facility and take care of residents. They really don't want to be in the real estate development business. So it's a nice partnership. We build the building for them to their standards, and then they occupy it and run it. I will point out a few things. There's a chapel here at the entrance. Now, obviously, this isn't a site plan review, because we wanted to get to see if this was an acceptable project before spending all the dollars on architectural and civil engineer plans. So these are preliminary plans. This is pretty accurate to where it would sit and where we're proposing it. This detention was designed for this project. You can see that it does have 2 curb cuts on Brimfield Ridge. Just Cricket asked for additional access to Promenade Drive. My answer is we're not against it. We'd be for that. I will preface, there is a ditch and some engineering that has to be worked out. So I guess a more formal statement is subject to civil engineering and Brimfield and whoever all reviews access points. If it's feasible, we absolutely will connect. We would actually like to connect too, so it's not us against Just Cricket. If we can get a second means of egress and engineering works, we'll definitely work towards that. Moving on, and just for the record, there's nothing proposed out front of this, even though it's not part of the project. We have nothing pending now on the other side of Aldi, so that's still just vacant big retail. We laid out villas and a small 42-unit apartment building. This is a garden-style apartment building that we'll show additional renderings of. It's also a high-end. This renter is probably doesn't have a product yet in your market. These folks expect a nice unit, nice appliances, stainless steel appliances, and other finishes that are in the higher end apartments. This is not an elevator building. This is a wood structure, so we'll have steps, and it's called garden style apartment. 42 unit. Complementary to this is some villas, and these villas are slab on grade, senior targeted. So these will be a very complementary feeder to the Village of St. Edwards operation. And we've done this basically almost every Danbury, except the Danbury that you have in Talmadge Circle. We just didn't have the real estate for it. But what we've learned is that the villas, if they're designed right, we get the right demographic that we're targeting that would like to be near the Village of St. Edwards. So it's a nice, they might have residents over there, they might have a wife over there who has memory issues in the memory care section, and it's just a very nice complement. So we proposed make sure I understand, 18 villas, 42 apartments, on the balance of the site. Do you have any initial questions?
So those are the closest to Just Cricket, the apartments.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have it laid out, and the reason why that is because, from what I understand, is we have to maybe subdivide, this has to be financed different than the village, and this will have to be probably subdivided as one. So with the road frontage that we're required to have, it was easier to put it on that side.
Okay.
We did meet with Just Cricket, thank you Vince for speaking up. They didn't have an objection through the immediate neighbor, and obviously, we didn't meet with anybody in Talmadge, but, we did the development on the other side, and I had lunch today with Pulte Homes, and they didn't have any issues with it as well.
And we didn't receive anything from residents of Talmadge on it?
I received no correspondence.
Okay.
But if you have any questions, I can answer them, or you just want me to address them. I appreciate you listening to us, and obviously, I guess I'll state the obvious, this is the same ownership group as Maplecrest, all the other stuff we did there, including the industrial, so. It is a
So at least at this point, you have no plans to move into what would be left of the out front towards?
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking to anybody about it.
Okay. So,
I tried to talk to the basement went across the street, and there's a few other retailers that are looking around. I know there's requests for a sit-down restaurant, we're working on it.
do we have any other questions from the board, or do you said you have renderings you want to show us, or?
Yeah, there should be in your packet,
Okay,
but if not, I can show you the rendering. Again, we came to you guys first because architectural drawings are pretty expensive, so we thought we'd get this checkbox first before moving forward, so that we just balance our risk. But this is an elevation in the front. I can talk you through a little bit. You have a front entrance, round, windowed. This is an area where people hang out amenity-wise. Here's your chapel. Obviously, it's brick and stone, and has an architectural roof pitch. It is a residential structure, so it does have a pitch roof.
so you say it's 3 floors, but
Yes,
no
3
elevator?
No, this will be elevated.
Oh, that will have
Yeah,
elevator.
sorry. The apartments will not have.
Will not have elevators. Got
Garden
it.
style apartments, but this will definitely have an elevator. This is an expensive endeavor. It's a big building. I mean, not that it, I don't know, I haven't been in front of this board before. I mean, for this kind of presentation on this, but, so I'm not sure how much you're interested in the inside, but it does have a full kitchen and a full staff. This will probably have 90 employees to possibly 110 employees.
So aside from the memory unit, it's not designed for long-term care, just,
No, this is not a skilled nursing facility.
Okay.
So this is an assisted living facility. It is licensed in the state, so it is regulated by the state. So, meaning there's employees that are resident ratios, and there's all sorts of requirements that need to be met. These people do need care, help bathing, help with medications. Maybe down the list, I don't know the whole list, but they do need care. And in the memory care, which is an area that caters to people with dementia, it's a lockdown unit. So you can't leave.
will it
That
all,
one's going
will
on.
there also be like a rehabilitation unit, or just,
They do not do any rehabilitation.
no rehab at all? Okay.
But doctors will come in here and meet with their patients. But
Okay,
it's not a rehab facility. It's assisted living.
just
It's
straightforward,
the same if you've been to the Danbury Talmadge,
right?
but this is a little bit different with the culture in the chapel. But very similar service-wise. But it does have a full kitchen. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Good.
Thank you.
There are no other questions from the board. Do we have a motion regarding the conditional use?
I make a motion that we approve the conditional use to operate as assisted living facility.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, for the assisted living facility. Roll call, please.
Bruce Stickenberg,
Yes.
Scott Etling,
Yes.
Vince Bernacco,
Yes.
Clayton Poppett,
Yes.
motion passed.
The next application, also Brimfield Development Company. This is for a conditional use request. Applicant is requesting conditional use approval for a multifamily dwelling. Zoning resolution, section 31102B1A. Multifamily dwellings up to a total of 12 dwelling units per acre, subject to the provisions of chapter 4 and section 410.B subsection 53. Get anything from zoning on it?
No, it looks good.
This would be the apartments and.
Sorry. I
I
thought it
didn't
was-
see.
My apologies. My apologies. I'm gonna do that smallest repeat. Again,
I'm assuming that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I am so sorry that I connected the two as one. I forgot to give them separately.
Yeah,
Okay. Dan, do you have the So this project is, your zoning, from what I understand, allows a certain amount of densities by right. We would ask for additional density, which then falls under the conditional use permit. Is that correct?
Correct. I think it's four units per acre as a permitted, 12 for conditional use.
So, Mike and I met, there is a debate whether or not the assisted living that counts towards the units. If you took that out, you probably maybe don't even need a conditional use permit, but we're here
Correct.
for one today.
We're erring on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's in the code, technically, the assisted living is 98 units. That might not be counted as density, but we're gonna count it for density for this purposes today. It's just that we're being very transparent on it. And hopefully get support by you guys, by all of you. So we have 42 unit garden style apartment, like I said, non-elevator. It does have garages. And we built this in other areas. This is a higher end apartment. It's not big enough to allow for an elevator. And I don't think that's what residents would want here. It's a 42 unit, and you can see it on the site plan there. It has surface level parking. Then we are proposing villas, and there are 18 villas, and these are slab on grade for kind of like residential house, but smaller. These are for rent products. And they also have a small garage.
Yes.
Each has a garage attached, which is a difference than our competitor known as Redwood, which isn't really a competitor for us, I shouldn't say that. They're, you know, the Redwood product, there's normally detached garages. We feel that this is an added benefit, and I think residents want to be able to own their garage in their unit. So I don't know if there's anything in the marketplace like this now. This is slab on grade. What I mean that is that they have no basements. And we've learned that ironically, people don't want a basement. Even though I couldn't live without a basement, there's a lot of people that don't really want a basement. It adds cost and space that pretty well isn't really used as efficiently as other parts of the house. These are senior targeted. These are not age restricted. But these will most likely be 55 and older residents.
So the apartment building out front, that's 40 units?
42.
42 units,
3-story.
okay. And then the
Also
villa is kind of in the back, so,
Yes, it will actually
Would be-
complement the Village of St. Edwards architecturally. It'll be basically changes materials, but it will also have a pitched roof and it will match.
do you have like a picture of what it's gonna look like, or?
I don't have one, but I will be able to present one. I don't think we have one right now. I mean, Northridge, I could Google a few that we've done that actually like this. Yeah, There's Yorkshire Woods we did. I can't think of it, what you have currently in your marketplace that might be like this, but new construction is expensive and we're looking for a higher rent here. So these aren't for everybody. But there are, these people are locally working and this means that what we've learned is that apartments are helping businesses grow. So they're giving diverse housing.
So Dan, on almost everything we built down there, Maple Crest, we require either a stone or brick front of some percentage.
Yeah, we would meet your.
Would you be, yeah, I would at least require some kind of stone or brick front to,
Will there be a site plan after this, or this is it?
they'd have to submit to me
Yeah,
a
this is
site
not
drive.
technically a site plan.
This is just gonna be the conditional use and then the drive would come to me for.
So as long as it,
You could put criteria, it has to have brick, has to have stone, has to have dormers, vice versa. Yeah.
okay.
If you see the rendering of this, the standard woods, I think that's what we'd like to copy architecturally.
Okay.
But we definitely work with you, Mike, and with your.
We wanted probably harmonious with the assisted living center, the villas, we'd want to kind of all make it look the same.
And that's what our.
That would be our definite.
Okay. And then you agree with whatever that Maple Crest area theme is with the brick and,
Yes.
okay.
And I would put that as a condition.
Okay.
The
And-
village standards, by the way, will have, I know it's not, we already talked about that, but it will have a flagpole, that is important. Well, it's a monument, so there is one out there.
Okay. And then lighting, I'm assuming will all stay, the light will stay on your property, won't bleed off into just Cricket or Talmadge or.
Yeah, we have the lights that don't do the light pollution, so they should be pointing down. Yeah. The lights will be consistent with the Danbury and Talmadge. So it's lightly lit. So
Okay.
we have had a few people like more light on them, but the lights are just for security purposes.
Correct.
Just that you see that there's a building there. So it's not that, you still need to turn your lights on the drive.
So at this point, they still need approval from fire, police, zoning. and so
Correct.
forth.
Mhm.
Okay. So those would all be conditions.
Yep.
Okay. Will there be any kind of sidewalking or just curb, gutter, anything?
Harold Bridge does have sidewalks, Public Street has sidewalk.
Yeah, there is a sidewalk on the public street, and
Internal.
these will be asphalt and curb.
Okay.
An internal sidewalk we've normally done. I assume we would probably have some sidewalks through here, or some walk.
I don't know, no, I mean, just from the door to the driveway to the walk around. It doesn't lend itself to putting internal sidewalks.
Yeah, you're right.
But along the public street?
Yeah.
It's all, yeah, the public street has a sidewalk, private back in here, would not,
Well, not, okay.
which would be typical.
And it should say, same statement goes, so we look for the access point. That's what we keep guys on. Something
That part's not in stone.
No,
It's actually would be an emergency, we would block it off.
you know, it's something that we both want.
Right.
Rich is on the more technical side, so he said, Dan, we have to work out some engineering on that, which is truthful. There is a little ditch there and stuff.
Okay.
Or we would support it and push that direction.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if it's important to you, but, you know, we would own these and we're, local. We have had, interest from people from out of town, interested in buying this piece of ground from us. But we're really not interested in selling to someone who out of town that would do multifamily here. We have too big of an investment here to make sure it's not done right.
Well, and originally we were sort of opposed to multifamily in this area anyway.
Yeah. I understand.
We're getting enough traffic out of Talmadge now. Okay.
Well, thank you. If you have any questions,
Any more questions from the board?
As long as they clean that ditch and put those trees up.
Well, that's a deal that you guys have there.
You'll have to fight that one.
But with the conditions we discussed this evening, do we have a motion?
I took a shot at this. I make a motion that we accept or we grant the conditional use for a multifamily dwelling contingent with the aesthetics of that I don't remember who.
Well, that match the larger facility.
Yeah,
And
this
then
is the logo, so
also match the Maple Crest.
that's the one, Maple
area.
Crest. Yeah, Maple Crest. Write that up.
Okay, and that they, in the future, they are going to try to have the second ingress. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Bruce Diffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Allen.
Yes.
Vince Bracco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Well, thank you for trusting us. We'll do the job this project. We do appreciate your support.
And then for some reason, you're also at the end.
I'll take care of that.
You're doing that one. Okay. Then you can leave.
There we go. Again, thank you again.
Yep, thank you. All right. So our next is a,
Thank you.
thank you. Our next is a zoning variance application. Morgan, Iorio? Ira, okay. 1828 Sandy Lake Road in Ravenna, Ohio, 44266. Variance request. Applicant is requesting a front yard setback variance for an existing garage addition. Zoning resolution, section 51003A4. It shall not be located in the front yard area of the lot.
Good evening. I'm Morgan Iorio. I've been a resident of Brimfield Township since 2015. It's a historical home. I own my home free and clear. I'm proposing a expansion, 24 by 28, onto an existing 24 by 26 garage structure. It is positioned, when you're pulling in the drive straight, it's positioned to the side yard on the left. I have full permission from my neighbor to the left-hand side. In your application packet, you received both a site plan from the architect and then also a finished structure. On the left-hand side is the new expansion, and on the right is the existing. And it'll be blended aesthetically. I do have a historical home that's been completely remodeled. So when that new expansion is built, both matching roof and siding will blend and landscape aesthetically match the rest of the home. I'm an auto enthusiast, prefer to bring my vehicles, outside of a storage unit, back to my home property, and prefer not to leave them outside based on, recent catalytic converter thefts in the area. I'd like to secure them on my property. So that's my proposal. I do have, in addition to the site plan, I have a sketch from the architect that was included in my application as well.
So you will be taking it closer to the road.
Correct.
And what will be the distance from the road?
I believe it was
68 and a half.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was getting there sooner or later.
That's okay.
So, I mean, at this point, I think your current garage is about even with your neighbor's house, the frontage.
Correct.
So you'd be then moving out even in front of his house or the neighbor's house.
6 feet, 28 feet.
Correct.
Okay. And is there a reason we just don't go backwards into the backyard?
Yes, one blocking kind of his view and mine, and all of the plumbing and drainage is routed between my current home detached garage and the attached garage. So it'd be, pretty costly for me to move all of that drainage and backfill, whereas it's a flat surface currently where the expansion would go.
So the backyard is inaccessible or?
Not inaccessible, it's quite costly for me to develop in the backyard itself, not attaching to anything. For me to get utilities and a drive and things back there, I'd be doubling if not tripling my expenses.
But there's nothing back there that prevents you from it?
Correct.
Okay.
In the backyard, not
Correct.
expanding on the other side. Correct.
It's to keeping it from moving more out towards the street is what I'm suggesting. So usually we're looking for a practical difficulty or some hardship. So your hardship would be the financial.
It is. It's confirmed to double my cost based on the plans and the architect. That's just the structure itself. It's not getting the driving utilities back there as well. I foresee that to be quite costly.
So it will be slightly taller than the existing.
Correct.
You said there's utilities in it, power,
Yes.
water or sewer, or water.
I have city utilities, but the expansion will have a floor drain with water and also adding heat.
And the floor drain goes where?
It's going to go in the center. The center of the new expansion.
No. Where will the water go? Any water that drains oil, vehicles, whatever, down into the floor drain? Where's that
Currently,
going?
the drainage between myself and my neighbors, there's a little gully that goes down that drains towards the back. So that's the proposed route.
So it went into the ditch.
Correct.
I thought of our standard question first. Any external lighting? We asked everybody. So any external lighting that's going to shine at the road or anything like that? That's
No. There's currently a motion light on the existing structure. We would duplicate that on the expansion.
no red flashing lights.
Not at all. There is currently a security system on the existing structure that will carry over through the current wall.
And the same thing for water off of the roof, it will go into the ditch as well?
Correct.
I didn't know if there were any storm sewers in the area or not, just,
Not at my property now.
okay.
So the variance here is that they aren't allowed to put a garage in the front yard.
Yes,
But
and
it's not a setback area.
we have no record that there was a variance granted on the existing garage ever. Otherwise, we could have looked at it a little bit differently, but we just couldn't find a variance.
Was built in '96 based on.
It was prior to zoning,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Because it says it's asking for a front yard setback, but the setback is actually the garage in front.
Right.
So, okay. Gotcha.
But you're still far enough away from the road, so
Yeah.
it's not obstructing vision or,
Right, so you're gonna be 68 feet off the road and 28 feet on that one.
And we have had no objections either.
That's what I like to hear.
the only thing I just not fond of is the fact that it's going into a ditch.
Yeah,
That would be, so the plumbing inspection will have to be, if he's got a floor drain, they're gonna inspect that, and if they want to tie it in, they'll go through the plumbing permit portion.
The one picture that's on here, and it's not perspective, but it looks like there's gonna be a tree that's gonna go by.
It's already gone.
It's already gone.
Yes. That's the first to go.
So where does that ditch drain to, do we know?
To my knowledge, based on the property being a farm property in the past, it goes back to the far east side of the property and goes down through the Sandy Lake.
So any accidental spillage will end up in the lake.
I'm presuming that's where things go. We can reroute things to the street, based on your recommendations.
If there is no storm sewer, they're not gonna let you tie into the regular sewer.
I look to you folks for, this is my first opportunity here, so I reached out to Mike early on.
He's gonna have to.
For-
Yeah.
So you'd have to get permits from building department, which then you're gonna have to pull a plumbing permit if you're putting a drain. And then
Okay.
they're gonna have to look to see what the health department wants as far as outlet.
Okay, and if that's a deciding factor, then we just don't put it right in.
There's one in your current garage now?
There's not.
There's not. Okay.
The code allows, I know when I was building commissioner, the code allows garages where you don't have to put a drain at all. You just have to slope the floor to
To the front.
the front.
And then it would just end up out on the driveway and,
Yeah, then he's got to clean his drive.
It's cheaper.
well, yeah, just,
When I bought the home, there was no drainage and it was literally filling the basement.
Yeah.
So over the course of 8 years, I've done, nothing but renovations, rerouting, replumbing, a full really renovation of the exterior.
and you are using this strictly for personal use?
100%.
No business use, not gonna sell carpet out of it?
Store garbage.
Yeah, store garbage.
Store
but-
garbage.
Okay. Exterior lighting, none at all, or just something pointing at the driveway? Security
Mainly
type?
something pointing on my current driveway.
Okay.
Right now, there's a motion light on the current structure. We'll duplicate that on the second.
Okay, so just security lighting that won't affect anybody driving down the road?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, and currently it's been positioned closer to the home because cars were passing, it was going on when I first installed it. So, yeah, it's just pivoted towards the home and drive.
And there are no homes, basically, what would be south of you? I mean,
There are not. The
that lot's empty anyway.
Butternut Bridge is adjacent, but there's a significant crest there.
Okay.
It looks like your drawings were actually done by an architect. Is this Markovich and Pusty? Is that correct?
Makovich, yes.
Makovich, okay. That's good. So he's gonna know the code on that, so.
He's managed my other renovations within the
Yeah.
home, so.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from the board? Do we have a motion then?
That was you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes request.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the variance. We're gonna have conditional upon plumbing and so forth. You're just gonna not do the drain.
I will certainly inquire.
Okay.
To see what my, parameters are, what's necessary. But again, if it's it's
Okay.
not an easy task that will wait.
All right, so we don't need to worry about that. All righty. We do have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Lori Stufenberg,
Yes.
Scott Edling,
Yes.
Vince Baraco,
Yes,
Dick Pavitt,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Am I obligated to?
No.
No,
No.
you can go.
You can watch it this weekend and all the highlights.
Yeah, you can go watch it on YouTube. Except I don't think
Oh,
we're on the air. It might not be on the air. So, all right. Okay, our next is a conditional use application. The applicant is Bridge Bible Church. Conditional use request, applicant is requesting an amendment of an existing conditional permit used for a flag-shaped lot originally approved in February 2022. Zoning resolution section 400.03B, modifications to the term under which is additional zoning certificate is granted shall require resubmission and shall constitute a new review by the Board of Zoning Appeals, subject to the provisions of section 202. Okay,
So I'm Tom Leesing, one of the board members for Bridge Bible Church, and you guys may remember I was before you roughly a year ago when you granted that conditional approval. So that was to split this 6-acre parcel into 3 lots, 2 building lots out on Powell Road, and then the remainder parcel was a flag lot with 60 foot of frontage and had just under 5 acres total. So subsequent to that approval, we were approached by a neighbor, Kathy Davis, who lives off Sherman Road. She has horses and wanted to have some additional land where she could put in some riding trails to the woods. So she asked about buying our remainder parcel and then also 3 acres of land on the back of this 13-acre parcel. So we said, that's fine, we can't use that land anyway, because it's mostly wetlands, and it's sloped downhill, and you go uphill and then down to that. So it's literally underwater, a lot of that. So we said, that's fine, we just need to go through zoning to make that all one contiguous parcel. So I got with Mike and learned that subsequent to our approval, you can change the zoning so that, if I'm correctly stating that, creating a flag lot in R2 district
Is not permitted.
Yeah.
Correct. So use is not covered, come before the BZA, used to be in the code. And therefore, he was able to obtain the original flag-shaped lot under that provision. But now that it's eliminated out of the code for uses not covered, he can't do another flag-shaped lot. So what we did is he came in tonight as, how did we do this? Hold on one second. Modifications to the terms under which a conditional zoning certificate is granted shall require resubmission and shall constitute a new review by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So he's allowed to come back for his flag-shaped lot under that provision because he was already approved. He's just changing the original approval. So we had extensive meetings because if you look at it, it's basically a flag on top of a flag.
Right.
And so I called Todd Peets and we had a meeting with Tom, sat down, and we had to hash it through the code extensively, both the counties and ours. And we came up with this solution. And this meets the code because he had it at 30 feet originally to allow access. We had to have that 60-foot access as we do at the beginning of the road. And then the other condition was that in his hardship in this case for this conditional uses, it's all wetlands and she just wants to ride horses back there. So
Currently it's landlocked.
it's land, it's not landlocked now.
Because it's attached to the church.
It's attached to the church. It would be landlocked. So we had to create an access point.
Right. Now, where is the potential buyer? Does she live in this area or?
She lives off Sherman Road.
Okay.
So she has permission, she's representing me, she has permission to come up across the back of the CDAX property so that she has a direct point of access. Her property butts up to CDAC and then CDAX butts up to ours. So we're happy to accommodate her and someday I can see her maybe building a home up here. She's talked about that.
You can see the wetland up in there.
Main
Yeah.
thing, just have horse trails. So
Okay.
see that as a very compatible neighborhood.
We see that. We viewed that back portion as unbuildable. So,
Right.
I mean, if she wants to use it, we thought it was
How much of
good.
that back end is wetlands?
Take a look at that survey.
Yeah.
It says low-lying area in there, and then
Oh.
it exceeds beyond there. Yeah.
Okay. So about half, a little less than half. a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wetlands probably bigger than that, but the low-lying wet area, that's actually.
It's actually underwater, yeah.
So, but at this point, she's not planning on building anything. She's just planning on riding.
She wouldn't be able to, yeah.
Well, she can't build back there, but she
She'd have
could
to-
build on that parcel there.
Yeah, she could, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then this is eventually going to have to go back to the county because they're going to have to combine the lot. That's a tax map issue, is it not?
I believe it's over 5 acres total, so now we eliminated from him going to regional planning at this point.
Okay. All he has to do is get the tax map changed.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah, we exhausted all codes.
I just want to know where we're going from here.
It's a good idea, and it's a
Yeah.
resident we're trying to appease, so,
Sure.
you know.
What's on personal B right
Nothing, that's just vacant.
now? Like that too, okay.
That's gonna be a very, very lucrative commercial building is gonna go there one day.
If they can get access to a road.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking is there going to be a potential, because you have a 60-foot by 60-foot access from one property to the other. Is there going to be a potential issue with somebody complaining about a horse walking through the property? Yeah. So,
Well, she could
finding
actually,
the other horses.
she could actually, if this happens, she could actually declare this agriculture now.
Okay.
And that way it could eliminate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So originally, the original use of the flag lot was to sell and build on. Now it's just a flag lot for recreational purpose, basically.
For the time being, I mean, she
Eventually, she may want to build, but that's,
Equestrian recreation.
as far as you know, it is just her, or is she going to be renting out these trails?
Her grandkids.
Her and her grandkids, okay.
So there's no business or anything.
It's not, she's not creating a business on the property. Of course, that's your understanding, right? And not, or she's already said that to you.
She told me that.
She told you that, okay.
She actually lives,
That's my-
her property now actually could almost access this off of, was it, oh shoot.
Sure.
Sherman.
Sherman, okay.
Still a question, but does she have the horses on her property now?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's just looking for someplace
She's
to ride.
just looking for
She's got a couple acres. and she-
more space.
She's looking more acres, got it.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
No.
I got no idea on this one. That's,
Do we have a
this is
motion?
I make a motion that we modify the existing,
Yeah, how do you phrase it? That's-
Modifications to the original submission is how I would say.
okay, 37.
That sounds good.
That sounds great. To allow for recreational use only, or, I guess.
Well, she eventually may put a house on it.
Yeah, that's inclusive of this whole property though, right? Or is it not just inclusive of this area?
If she decides to put a house on it, do they have to come back or?
Yeah,
Or, I mean,
You can put that stipulation in there, yeah. That way you could find location, but
I would
That would be fine.
just to,
In fairness to Kathy, if she was here, I think she would object. She's wanting to buy, she's paying a price that assumes the lot is buildable to put a home on it, so I don't think she's wanting to have to.
I think you could put the provision that she only puts it in the front portion of parcel A and not the vacant land in the back, and put that stipulation, because we'd be okay. The pole length, everything is good to go on that one.
okay.
What he said.
Yeah, what you said.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that,
All righty.
what he said.
We have a motion and a second to approve the reformation of the flag lot with the stated stipulations.
That she would only build on parcel A if building a house.
It's all parcel A, so you might want to say the
Original power.
Yeah.
Okay,
The front for, yeah.
correct. That makes sense.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it right, sorry, to build on the original.
Original flag lot.
Okay.
Original flag lot portion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bruce Dukenberg.
Yes.
Scott Etling.
Yes, with
Mr.
confusion.
Vasso.
Yeah,
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, good one.
You're welcome. That was a unique one. I've never seen one like that. It's a learning experience.
All right. So our next zoning is a conditional use application. Hickory Creek LLC, Patrick Long. Conditional use request. Applicant is requesting conditional use approval for an antenna tower. Zoning resolution section 30402B14. Wireless telecommunication service facilities proposed by a public utility company and subject to local zoning procedures, subject to the provisions of Chapter 4 and Sections 400.10.b, subsection 63. We have an application, an applicant,
We have an application and there's nobody here.
no applicant,
I could tell you what it is. So it's Hickory Creek. It's the pump station.
okay?
And
That's
they-
in the back, right?
yeah, so you guys approved the building with part of the phase 2, okay? But then if you look at the drawings for Hickory Creek phase 2, it says shop drawings to follow on the antenna. Well, I never seen the antenna. So you guys didn't see the antenna. So when he came with the antenna and says, well, I need building department and the county's requiring I get building permits for the antenna. I says, well, how high is the antenna? And I think it was 40 foot, if I'm not mistaken, in the drawings. And I says, okay, well, that triggers a whole nother section of the code. It requires fencing, buffering and landscaping, and then signage that's saying, keep out, perimeter.
So far away from any buildings.
And I would have been able to, you guys would have been able to approve it, the use as such. But then it came back and they wanted to follow strictly the county plans on it, which would require a fence height instead of 8 foot to 7 foot, you'll see here. And then we required actually barbed wire on the 8 foot. And this one says fences shall not be, I'm sorry. Exclude barbed wire in a residential district, and they do have that, so.
They want to put, because it's a lower fence, they want to put barbed wire.
Yeah, and then I don't understand not putting a no trespassing sign, and I'm not so sure why we can't put
Correct.
buffer plants. So I'm not, I was kind of interested to hear what the hardship was,
I can't speak for him, but I would text John and say, hey, Pat's not here, his name's on Jeff's, I thought all that was taken care of, so.
Okay.
Right,
Pat's not here. I thought Pat would have shown, and
The question-
maybe there was some miscommunication on that, but
Question is, do we want to table this and give Pat a chance to show up
I would,
or vote?
well, I think he should be here, but I would suggest tabling it.
That motion
I'll make a motion that we table
until Pat can be here, or until a representative can be here.
representative.
Amber Walsh, somebody.
yeah, somebody should be here.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to table till such time as a representative can be here. Roll call, please.
Bruce Steffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Atling,
No.
Vince Bradco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Skip over them.
How important you would think you'd be here.
You would think.
So do you want to table each one individually, because do you want to do,
There's 5.
there's 5 of them from
Five of
Hickory
them.
Creek.
I guess that's kind of what was in
Okay.
I thought it was a little important to be here.
I guess I would read off each one just to formally table them.
Okay, so that's the first one. Second one would be buffer planning, zoning resolution, section 410B, 63D, 8D. Buffer planning shall be located around the perimeter of the security fencing, consisting of evergreen screening, comprised of either hedge planted 3 feet on center maximum, or in a row of evergreen trees planted 5 feet on center maximum. And I think they don't want that, right? Is the application, is to
Right.
eliminate the buffering.
Right, I'm not so sure why, but yeah.
Well, they say to comply with Portage County water resource specifications, so. Anyway, do we have a motion to table?
I move the table.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second to table, roll call, please.
Bruce Steffenberg,
Yes?
Scott Atling,
No.
Vince Bradco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next one is a variance application. Variance request application is requesting a variance to eliminate the no trespassing sign, zoning resolution section 410B 63D12. No trespassing sign shall be posted around the facility with a current and accurate telephone number of a responsible party to contact in the event of emergency. So we have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Bruce Steffenberg,
Yes.
Scott Atling,
No.
Vince Bradco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next one is a variance request. Applicant is requesting a variance to allow for a barbed wire fence. Zoning resolution section 51006G2. Fence shall be of a decorative design to include chain link, but to exclude barbed wire, chicken wire, and similar type fence, and shall be designated to have an opacity of 50% or more. Decorative posts shall not exceed the height of 5 feet in height. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we table it. I forgot what it was.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to table. Roll call, please.
Bruce Wittenberg,
Yes.
Scott Atling,
No.
Vince Bradco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, and I think that's it. No,
We got one more.
one more. A variance request. Applicant is requesting a variance to allow for a 7-foot high fence with one barbed wire above, with, I guess, 1 foot of barbed wire above to comply with Portage County Water Resource Specifications. Zoning Resolution Section 410, or 400.10.b, 63.d.3. An 8-foot high security fence shall be in place around the tower base, and all aperture structures will within 20 feet of the tower base.
I move to table this one.
Okay, we have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Bruce Wittenberg,
Yes.
Scott Atling,
No.
Vince Bradco,
Yes.
Clayton Popick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. So our next zoning variance application, Brimfield Development Company. A variance request, applicant is requesting a 7.5-foot variance. Zoning resolution section 700.14.b1. .a, an off-premise sign shall not be permitted within 20 feet of the right-of-way line of any street or highway. Okay, you're on.
Thank you very much. My name is Rich Costin. I'm representing Brimfield Development Company. I'm going to speak on, we have 3 issues here, all on the same thing, the sign. They're all setback issues. So I think I'll speak once, and then you guys can take them individually, answer any question while I'm on the way. I did put my letter together. I was debating on what to say. I'm not sure if everybody's going to, but maybe I just read this, and hopefully that'll kind of explain everything. This is a relocation of the Just Cricket monument sign as part of the Parliament Drive public street improvements, the addition of a traffic signal, and the realignment of the entrance to Just Cricket condominiums. The proposed monument sign would be located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Parliament Drive and Brimfield Ridge. This parcel is owned by Brimfield Development Company, the applicant, and thus making the Just Cricket monument sign an off-premise location. There is a recorded sign easement with Just Cricket and Brimfield Commons Development. The proposed sign location is a natural and harmonious fit with the project. It will help identify the main entrance to Just Cricket condominiums. There are some space limitations in this location of the sign. Topography, the grade slopes down away from the street right away. There are wetlands behind the proposed sign location. Using the zoning code sign setbacks of 20 foot, 500 foot, 50 foot from the right of way would make the sign non-functional for its intended use. We believe we meet all other zoning code requirements for the sign. The proposed sign location has been reviewed by our engineer and is located outside the clear sight triangles of the intersection. That's him talking. The proposed sign has been approved by Just Cricket Condo Association's board. It will be made of all new materials, with landscaping, uplit. We are requesting a setback variance for the 3 zoning codes. So, with all that being said, it is a short version. And I assume everybody's familiar with where we're at out there. So this is Towns Road at the bottom. Just Cricket is up here to the north. Aldi is, actually, you can see yours. Aldi is sitting here. The Just Cricket Drive went kind of straight through, and we worked out with Just Cricket, and we built this public road here. And Just Cricket had a monument sign out here on Towns Road at one point in time, but now their entrance is pushed back here, so this is where we'd like to put it. And what we're here for is, Just Cricket does not own the land where this is at, so it becomes an off-premise sign, and therefore, that's why we have to ask for the variances, because off-premise signs has these crazy numbers for what we're trying to do here. It's, I think off premises, thinking much more in a commercial.
They're thinking more like pole signs for Walmart or something like that.
Yeah, so that's what yeah, but it technically falls into here, so that's what we're asking for. So again, we want to move back here. We feel it's the entrance to Just Cricket, so it's a natural place for it to be. And that is kind of it. I can show you a picture of the sign if you want to see that.
It's on
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in
so
your
the back and
application.
stuff like that. So, answer any questions. I hope that was kind of clear.
Is that gonna create an issue for anybody moving that sign off the main road back to behind there?
No, I'm sorry. The old sign was up.
Yeah.
We removed the old sign.
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, it would be underneath the pavement.
Okay, so people are already lost, so that's fine.
Yeah, and this, we're already lost.
Plus they've been driving behind the Aldi's
Right.
instead of the side of it.
Yes, yes, okay. Okay.
That's a problem.
This was always what the intent was with the project, obviously making this a public road and getting the full movement traffic signal out there was a big win for us and the Just Cricket people. And so we just need to finish the project up and put a monument sign.
Allows for easy access for a steakhouse out front.
Yes. You guys have no idea. We know, and we love
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. It's amazing. Yes, chicken out here. We've talked to every chicken place. We are scratching our heads why we don't have them. We will put them.
I think when, and to answer that question, so the last census, median household income was not part of it for townships. They're not releasing that data till May of this year. So we're updating our comprehensive land use plan with all they gave us the population, but they didn't give us the numbers we needed for market analysis for restaurants.
Right.
So as soon as that's coming, I have it on the books, immediately release it to you guys so that we can market for a restaurant. Because I think our median household income with all the new development has really boosted.
I'm sure it has.
For example, and not to get off topic, but I think we were looking at numbers just for these apartment complexes and where they're bringing their draw is averaging over 75,000 per unit. So that's going to up our value to help increase this restaurants we need. But anyways,
And
sorry.
getting off the same off, restaurant business is a tough business. They're all still trying to figure out how to make all that work. Right. So all that kind of stuff. Again, I was going to answer any questions about the sign. You have 3 issues, but they're all setback issues.
So this will actually be on your property, or is it gonna be on
Yes,
my
we have
property?
Brimfield Commons property.
Okay.
That's why I said there is a signed easement agreement with Just Cricket and with us. We did that from day one.
So will it be directly behind Aldi's or kind of offset from Aldi's?
Well, this is the Aldi pad, it's
Right.
not lot 1, so I would say it's kind of directly behind.
Right off the corner of their lot.
I have it staked out. So
I seen it. I
I've
seen it.
More stakes in there, so it's, again, it's just like any other subdivision development, that's where you normally put a sign. It just, I don't want to get way down the weeds, but there was reasons why, it wound up on our property, and just not expanding.
Right.
Just
And is there a reason we just don't put it on the monument sign for Brimfield Commons?
there was talk about that, but we really felt, and I feel strongly, Just Cricket should be identified as Just Cricket. They're not part of.
They're not part of
commercial,
Brimfield
something
Commons,
like
got
that. It'd be kind of a border on there kind of thing. And again, if you are using GPS or something like that, Parliament Drive, you're not looking for a monument sign. But this is identifying just Cricket, as opposed to the pylon sign kind of identifies the plaza kind of thing, the commercials.
Is it gonna look similar to the signage that you're eventually, that
Kill-
you're eventually gonna have out front?
Yeah. No, it's not, and I will tell you how the process went for this. Whenever we made our deal with Just Cricket way back when, we said, you guys pick out your sign, whatever you guys want, we'll build it. So we worked out, said, hey, here's a sign contractor, go work with them, and they picked it out. I will tell you what they did do is they kept it similar to what they had before. So their colors, if you drove around back there, they kind of have the yellow and the brown, and so that is what the theme that they stayed with. So they stayed with their identity as Just Cricket, and I think it's good. They don't need to be part of Brimfield Commons. They're still their little thing.
Okay.
So that's how they went.
But it's just not gonna stand out like the neon orange or.
Oh, no.
It's gonna be aesthetically compliant with.
Absolutely, yes. You would drove by and didn't have to read the words out, you say, yes, just looking at the colors, this is part of the just theme back there.
Lit?
It is uplit, yes, there'll be a round light showing up on it. Yes.
But nothing that'll,
And
Sure.
it doesn't.
it's not gonna blind anybody.
They have a light up there now, but
Right.
it's not.
A little ahead of ourselves, but so the lights came down, and actually, if anybody wanted to know, at the intersection there, whenever we can get First Energy to just complete anything, hope,
Yeah,
glad to hear some other people. There is a street light that goes at that intersection, which will help just light up the intersection in general there for safety.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
The drivers. So,
All righty.
again, you guys have 3 things to vote on, they're all setback issues, but I was just.
So as far as height requirement, that's fine.
Everything was good.
Size of the sign is fine.
It was just the off-premise sign
It's
stuff.
off premise because it's off premise.
We will indeed leave all those.
So if this were actually sitting on Just Cricket's property, it would be compliant.
Correct, there'd be this would not be an issue.
Okay.
And I don't know if you caught it there when I said I've had my engineer look at it for traffic, so it's not blocking whenever somebody comes up and looking to the left there, it won't block their view or anything like that.
Okay. All righty. Do we have any more questions then about the sign? Do we have a motion?
I'm working on it. So the first one, the applicant requesting a 7.5 foot variance from the 20 feet. So that would be a 12.5 foot variance, or 12.5 feet from the right of way. Is that right?
20 feet of the right of way. They need a 7.5 foot variance. So you're going to be 13, you're going to be 12,
12.6.
you're going to be 12 and a half feet away as
Yeah.
opposed to
Correct.
20.
Right.
Correct.
So the variance is 7.5.
7.5 feet, okay. I just want to make sure I was reading that right. So I make a motion that we approve the variance of 7.5 feet for the sign to be within the right of way. Within the 20-foot right of way.
Or
Correct.
outside the right of way.
Outside, yeah.
Outside.
Outside, yeah. Okay, we have a motion to
We're
grant.
behind the right, your setback is from the right of way.
Yeah, okay.
So the motion is for a 7.5 foot variance for the 20 foot right of way. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Bruce Stippenberg.
Yes.
Scott Atling.
Yes.
Vince Bracco.
yes.
Clayton Plotnick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. The next one, variance request, applicant is requesting a 487 foot variance. Zoning resolution, section 700.14B1.b, an off-premise sign shall be set back a minimum of 500 feet from the right-of-way of the intersection of any public road as measured from the edge of the nearest road right-of-way to the nearest portion of the off-premise sign.
Is this just me or is it kind of weird night?
You guys have that weird-
We don't want this pole sign falling into the street.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I make a motion that we grant a 487 foot variance. God, somebody looks at this just on the fly, there we go. For the, yeah, we grant the 487 foot variance.
That's just grant the variance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to grant the 487 foot variance. Roll call, please.
Bruce Stippenberg.
Yes.
Scott Atling.
Yes.
Vince Bracco.
Yes.
Clayton Plotnick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, same thing. On the next page, so. Variance request, applicant is requesting a 45 foot variance. Zoning resolution section 700.14.b1.g. An off-premise sign shall be placed no closer than 50 feet from all other property lines as measured from the nearest lot line to the nearest portion of the off-premise sign. So I only have one question. I mean, I pretty much agree in agreement with it, but since these variants are pretty much permanent, do we need to worry about somebody throwing a big pole sign up there at some point in time?
No, because then they need variance.
They need a variance for the
The
height.
height.
Got it. Okay.
That's
That
what's
was
the
a
sign.
good, that was a good question.
That is a good question.
Gotcha. People want to see Chris Cricket from 76.
See you next month.
See lemon and lemon on it.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, did we accept, or did we grant a 45-foot variance for the sign?
Okay. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Bruce Stickenberg,
Yes.
Scott Ettling.
Yes.
Vince Bernacco.
Yes.
Clayton Poppins.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you guys for your time tonight, and especially Lauren for doing the interpretation of
Yeah.
your things tonight. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
They have some cookies.
I was gonna say, is it dessert time now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll email those to you.
What's that?
So run while you can.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right. Do we have anything for the good of the order?
A lot of stuff coming in. A lot of stuff
Anything we can talk about?
coming in, and we've got, I mean, well, Chase Bank should be starting soon. And, you know, we've been working behind the scenes on this assisted living center for quite some time. He was, you know, working back and forth with the operator, which is he's saying they're very strict. They are very strict with their codes and how they want it to look, which is nice. It's much needed. We don't have an assisted living center here. We have 2 nursing homes. This would be a nice addition for Brimfield residents as they transition through life. And I think it's important they stay here. So that's good. And we're going to see stuff go on 43. We're making provisions to make that integrated commercial right now instead of general commercial. It's been stagnant for a long time. We keep trying to toss around how we're going to bring water down. Nobody wants to pay for water. So we're going to make it integrated commercial. And we have some ideas and some developers that might bite at that and bring water at least halfway down, maybe 3/4 of the way. And then that's going to help us out a lot.
So whatever, speaking of assisted living, and this will be the first, whatever happened to Danbury going in behind the Holiday Inn? Yeah.
I don't know.
I know
But that would have been
before your time.
that would have been a good question for Dan because he owns them.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, I know they'll have to come back since it's. was a long
Yeah,
time ago.
behind the Holiday Inn, I have not seen. I mean, we had some Pride One movement where he came in with some proposals a couple times, and you know, that just kind of fell by the wayside. I know it's still up for sale, but I don't have any bites on it as far as development.
Okay, well, do we have any other items for next month or just the one we tabled tonight?
Just the one you tabled tonight so far officially. We don't have anything else.
Okay, so if since we did not continue it, if we don't have anything else, I'm good with waiting for another month.
Okay.
If everybody else is.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Okay. All those in favor? Oh, roll call.
Bruce Stickenberg,
Yes.
Scott Ettling.
Yes.
Vince Bernacco.
No,
Clayton Poppins.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
I had to take a step.
Yeah.